So thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for making time. So before we get into the thick of things, just want to talk about our website, www.honeybeanscapital.com. For those who have their monies and would like to put them somewhere for a certain period of time, like 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, you can bring it through to HP Capital. I think you will be assisted to actually invest your monies with us. What we do is we trade in the foreign exchange markets. Okay, one thing to just clarify, we do not give out any financial advice. So if you invest with us, it's just the support you have with us. And in turn, we will make sure that we pay you these amounts on the bottom here. So if you check, if you invest a certain amount up to 10K, you will get 30%. Or let me just put it this way. If you invest $10,000, we will invest it in the money markets, then we'll pay you back your 10,000 in 30% payments every month. So that's times 6. So at the end of the 6 months, if you tally up what you pay you, you will have a total of 18K. Right, so that's an 80% gain over 6 months. Same applies on the 20% is times 9 months, on the 15% is times 12. So any amount above $100,000 will get 15% of that 100,000 back times 12 months. Then after that, you can choose to reinvest if you want to. So you can go through the website. Most of the information is there. It's pretty much clear to understand. If you're a bit stuck, you can just get in touch with any of our admins. I think there's a WhatsApp number on the bottom there for the admin. You can just scroll to where it says contact. That's our physical address. If you want to pay us a visit, email and phone number. So you can still WhatsApp admin and they can assist you. Our live chat icon is not yet there, but it's being loaded as we speak. So to get into business now, let me just share my MT5. So remember I mentioned that we're going to be telling you like the watch list, our main watch list for March. Right, so this watch list, I'll repeat again, this is not a financial advice. We're not advising you to trade these things or anything. You should just read the Forex trading disclaimer. You can lose all your money invested, but what we're showing you is what we trade and how we trade. So you can just take notes. Hopefully it can help you out. So, okay, audio quality, let's see. Okay, I hope you guys can hear me. Just check my sound. Okay. All right. So most of you who have been following us, we use pure price action and we use Btmm in our analysis. So for this particular one, we're going to be using Btmm, and we're going to be looking at a certain signature trade, which I'm going to explain. Right. So for Btmm, if you need it, if you don't have it, you can just check in the Telegram group. I think everything was sent in there. So for this particular, before we get into that, let me just mention our watch list. So we have AUD, CAD, right? We also have AUD, USD. So this assets, we picked them based on this particular signature trade. So through the month of Feb, we saw that AUD, CAD had 12 setups. So which means 12 out of 20 days, trading AUD alone, you could have taken 12 trades based on that signature trade. AUD CHF had, okay, we don't have that one. We have AUD USD. This setup appeared 11 times. So let me just write on the bottom there. But we'll still go through some of them so that you can just cross-check. So AUD CAD, we had 12, appeared 12 times. AUD USD, it appeared 11 times. CAD JPY, it appeared 9 times. Euro AUD, it appeared 15 times. You can see the probability on EU. That setup usually happens most of the times on EA. Okay, Euro CAD, it also happens 16 times. Euro CHF, it happened 10 times. Euro GBP happened 12 times. Euro JPY, it happened 14 times. So you can see it mainly also happens on the Euro pairs. So you can see, I think we have got about 6. Funny enough, it wasn't there on Euro USD. It was there, but it was just like 8 times. So I skipped Euro USD. Euro NZD, it was there 16 times. Then GBP AUD, it was there 15 times. So the more the times, the more the volatile the asset also. Then GBP CAD, it only had 3. But this one it's a particular special one, because what I noticed when I was backtesting is for the month of February, it usually moves in one direction for a long time before it turns. So you will find out when we check it, it usually hugs the 13 EMA. So you only look for your entries when your price reacts off the 13 EMA on H1. So this one is a bit of a special case. I just put it there because I noticed it usually moves like in one direction for a long time, so we can utilize on those movements. Then GBP USD 10 times, GJ 9 times, NZD USD 9 times, Nasdaq. I also noticed it's there also mainly on Nasdaq. I saw 10 times. Nasdaq is also a special case because I noticed it has the 13 EMA on the H1 most of the times, right? 13 EMA, this one. So you'll be looking for re-entries on the 13 most of the time on H1. Then US 30, lots of momentum on this one. It appeared there 17 times. This is the highest of them all, I think. US 500 or SP 500, it appeared 10 times. FDAX, I'm not sure if it's the German 40 index. You guys can just confirm. But on the German 40, I think it appeared 12 times. Then on the UK 100, which I'm assuming might be this one, FTSE, it appeared 14 times. Then on BTC USD, I haven't checked on crypto. I haven't checked on the metals. So that one will be reserved maybe for those in the premium group. When I update, I'm going to send them the setups as well. But so this is our watch list. So if you would like to check these pairs out, you can just add them on your watch list. So it doesn't mean you have to trade everything. But this particular signature trade I mentioned, it kind of allows you, if you've got such a watch list, at least in a day, you can get one trade. Right, so each day, if you browse through them all, you should get at least one high probability trade. Okay, so we're gonna start with AUD, CAD, as I explain that signature trade. So this signature trade is mainly on H1. So we are not going to do multi-time frame analysis or any of those things or many markings. We're just going to mainly focus on moving averages, mainly focus on the BTMM concepts. Okay, so we're going to load the template. I already saved it. Let's see if it loads. Okay, there we go. So if you check, we've got our TDI on the bottom. We've got, okay, let me just move it a bit. Okay, if you are familiar with BTMM, you see we've got the TDI on the bottom. We've got our ADR counter, which is the average daily range. So if your pair moves an average daily range like of 61 pips, and when you come to the charts, you see the pairs already moved 61 pips. You cannot trade on that pair anymore because the average daily range would have been passed. So usually after they hit average daily range, they consolidate until the next day. And one other thing, this is an intraday strategy, right, which I'm explaining. It's an intraday strategy. So it's for your day trading, for scalping anything from 10 to 50 pips, depending on the asset being traded or more. So when a pair reaches 184 or 3 times ADR, it means there is now high possibility it will reverse. Okay, so What we'll do is we'll go to the 1st of Feb. I'm going to try to zoom in. Okay, 1st of Feb. Okay, so this particular signature trade, I don't know what you might call it, but it's the big sister to the ID50. But it happens on H1. Okay, otherwise it's your ID50 but happening on H1, if I may put it that way. It's just an ID50 but happening on H1. So what happens now when you're trading is wait for your 1350 to cross, right? Once your 1350 crosses, don't worry about this, don't worry about this. Unless you're trading other setups or other signature trades, then you can as well get trades in there. But the thing you wait for is your price to interact with the 50 EMA after the cross. Let me just use a black color. Okay, so after they cross, you wait for your price to interact with the 50. Then on the close of the candle above the 13 EMA, that's your entry. So this is for day trading. This was scalping. You can see this was NY session. You can also confirm on the times where these assets move. If you want to backtest a bit on them, you can do that. So we're going to put vertical lines wherever we see a possible setup. Right, so for this one, you could have entered here. I'm going to make this what color should I make it? Let me see. I'm just gonna go for black. Hopefully it's going to be visible enough. Okay, so wherever I put a vertical black line, that's where you would have entered. So now, depending with good evening, bro. How are you? Welcome. We are recording this session, so don't worry about what you missed. Everything will be sent to the Telegram group or on YouTube. I'll just see where I post. So once you get your 1350 cross, the first thing you wait for is your price to come and touch the 50. Once it touches the 50, you're looking for a continuation to the upside, right? First green candle to close above, that's your entry. Or otherwise, you can wait for price to pull maybe 50%, 25 to 50% into that candle. Then you can have your buy. Stop loss can go below the candle you entered on or below a level. That all depends. So for this particular one, you could have entered even at the close of this candle. I just want to calculate pips. This one didn't move much because it was also going towards midnight. It only moved like about 10 pips before it came back into the consolidation stage. So this one wasn't much. So we're not going to count that one. The next day, what happens? So when you wake up next day, London session is here, right? One other thing you need to look at. If you're looking for buys on your main chart, TDI will confirm. Okay, what happened? Okay. TDI will confirm by trading above the 50 level. Okay, so when you want to confirm that this trade is correct, your TDI should be above 50 level, including the yellow baseline. Then your green price line must be crossing the red line to give the signal. So why I say this is a low probability, you can see here, there was no crossover of the green crossing the red. That's why this was like a very low probability. So for a high probability one now, you're looking for your price to come and close above the 13. So let's look at this particular example. So the next day you wake up, London session is here for those using the templates. If you don't have a template, if you're using your phone or your tablet, on the H1, you just count the first 8 candles is your Asian session from midnight. But that will also depend like with your time zone. But usually first 8 candles, that's your Asian session. Then you count 2 candles, 1 in between, then the next, that's London session here. So when London session starts, you're now looking for volatility because the London session is open now. So where do you enter? I would have looked to enter, since we have a 1350 cross here and we're trading above the 50, we're still looking for buys confirmed by TDI trading around above the 50 level, right? So your entry, after you see your candle close here, you want to look at your TDI to see if you have a confirmation. TDI confirmed, But for a clear confirmation, you could have entered here on this one. You're already above the red line. The signal is fired already. So you would enter that trade. Let me just check the pips, because some of these assets, they don't really move much in a day. So back to the previous day's high as you TP, that would have been 40 pips with a drawdown of how many pips? Of about 10 to 12 pips if your stop loss was below the candle of entry. Okay, so why we put stop loss below the candle of entry is to minimize our loss. Have a small risk, have a high reward. So if you were taking profit on the previous day's high here, you could have taken 40 pips, right? So that's the signature trade we're going to be looking at until we finish this session. So to just make it clear, I'll make more examples as the price is moving. Okay, so as the price moves, we're looking for a 1350 cross and price rejecting off the 50. So rejections, usually the first one is the most powerful. Any other rejection which will follow after that become low probability as the price moves. But as long as you have your confirmation on TDI, you can continue to take the trade with a tight stop loss. Okay, so as price moved on this particular day, we had no interaction with the 50. So imagine a person who was swinging this, they could have taken profit on the 800, which was now probably 100 pips from your entry. But for this particular day, there's no entry, there's no interaction with the 50, unless you're using some other criteria or some other setups. Then you might look maybe to buy or to sell. But based on this strategy, you're waiting for your price to interact with the 50. Soon as it interacts, you're looking at your price, at your close above the 13 EMA. That's your safe entry. So all these entries I'm telling you on this strategy, they are all safe entries. Those who like sniper entries, if you're using some of the strategies we use, probably you might catch the price in there. But safe entry is what we're preaching today. So your safe entry, your stop loss. Let me clear this. Your entry here, your stop loss here. Price pulls back a bit, like halfway. So we said you can also have your buy limit order halfway through your entry candle or through your confirmation candle. TDI was confirming here. Green line passing the red and the 50 level coming back above. And TDI is generally above. So the buys were valid here. So you could have taken your buy. Taking your buy there, back to the 800, that was about 20, almost 30 pips. So if you see a setup and it's going to give you a probability of like 20 pips, you should take that trade. 20, 30, 40, 50 for day trading is a lot of pips. Okay, so that was a setup for that particular day. Then we move, we get here where we get another cross. So now this cross is to the bottom side, okay? We're waiting for the price to interact with the 50. There's the interaction. Usually this time we don't trade because it's midnight. So when you come to the charts, it's probably morning and the price is here just before London session. So at that particular point, there is no confirmation for you to sell. There's no sell here, no sell here, no candle closing below the 13, right? So literally there is no entry. So the 13 then crosses back up and back below. Back up, you're looking for the same thing, ID 50. TDI confirms initially during this time. So probably if you were sleeping, if you come during London session, you will be looking for a continuation of this price, right? So if price pulls back, if you use other strategies, or if you take notes, usually in our DMR sessions, we usually talk about this type of pullbacks and your reaction of the 13. So you could have still entered this one here going into NY session. Okay, you can see these trades, they either go into very small drawdown or they go straight into profit. So if you can back test, just make sure you've got your 13 EMA, which is the red one, 50 EMA, the aqua, 800 EMA, the navy blue one, and the black one is the 200 EMA, and your TDI. So as your price is moving, you can see, even with confirmations, you wait for your candlestick to close. You don't just enter before your candle closes. Okay, let me put this back here. Okay, so we had an entry here, then price just pushed into the next day. So usually if you're day trading, you want to close before midnight. But if you want to hold, you just make sure you have your protective stop loss or your stop loss just above entry in case this price decides to drop while we are sleeping. So on the next day, we had no trade here because there is no interaction with the 50. On this day, 10th of Feb, London session is here, but we have no clear buy here. We wait for your pullback. Your pullback comes in to touch halfway through the average range of Asian. That's another setup on its own. Close above here, close above here. So to make sure that this is straight, let's put a vertical line. So when this candlestick closes, you can see that's where your price is creating a shark fin. So soon as this price, by the time it closes and opens the next one, let me just try to move it a bit. Okay, it's hard to move. But anyways, by the time this the next candle opens, you are in the trade. TDI confirms with a nice shark fin there. So if you're in that trade, you manage to catch like 40 pips again. So you can already check AUD, CAD plays between 20 to 40 pips. If you get 40 pips, if you get 20 pips, you scale out. So it's advisable to split. If you're entering with one lot size, just split it into 0.30 times 3. So one position here, one position at 25% down, that confirmation candle. At 50%, you have another buy limit. So if they all trigger, you have 3 positions, right? So at 20 pips, you take profit on one position. At 30 pips, you take profit off the other position. Then you'll be trailing the last position. In case your price continues to push, or if it pulls back, it will just hit your trailing stop. You still end net positive. Okay, if you check, then price came to an area where it's sort of ranged. So these are all the things you need to know about the market. So when your market is not trending or being choppy, it's in a range. So when it's in a range, usually the moving averages will be in the center. You don't usually take trades here. If you want, you can buy, sell, but usually this is a no trade area for this particular strategy. You wait for your price to form a trend. I have got 3%. Okay, we're recording, bro. I'll send it to you as soon as we're done. Okay, so I'll also try to rush through because I see we're still on the same pair. So after this consolidation, right, what do we have? We have a 1350 cross here. We wait for price to interact with the 50. It does here. But when it does, I want you to notice something. TDI has no buy confirmation. Okay, let me confirm on that green candle. You see, there is no confirmation here of your green price line crossing the red. So this is not a trade. That's one thing you should take note. Always use your TDI to confirm. So the first move was no trade, but then you get this type of pattern, another rejection of the 50, then price comes again and closes about the 13. Now, if you check your TDI, if you put your vertical line on the confirming candle there, which is this one, what do you have on the TDI? Soon as that closes, you see you already have a signal confirmation here. So your entry is there, another on 25%, another on 50%. Stop loss is below that candle. And what happens to the price? From there, it triggers all your buy limits. From your first entry to this high is 30 pips. To this high is 25. To this high is 10. So you could have taken 10 here, then just trailed the rest to see if you could catch the full 40 pips, which is like the average daily range of this one. The current one, however, is 60. If you check our current ADR here is 60. So usually it moves an average of 60 pips. That's what's the meaning of the ADR. So one more example on this one. Then we go to the next assets. Right. On this particular day, did we have an entry? So price is still hugging the what? The 50. On this particular day, maybe you might have scalped a buy here, but it didn't go far. So sometimes you have price come and hit your stop loss. But if you see that price is not going anywhere, you can always scale out. All right, so price interacted again with the 50 here, but this is Asian. When you come during London session, you see these funny candles. There's no trade there. If you do not understand the price action, do not take the trade. Okay, so let's say you had taken this particular buy here, seeing this as a rejection. Obviously, your stop loss is here, right? This trade triggers your limits and it doesn't follow through. So one other thing, if you see your price reacting off the previous day's high, usually the buy might bounce off and price can actually pull back. So this also acts as what is your resistance area, because this is yesterday's highs. So it's a resistance area. So if you see no follow through candle, don't hesitate to cut a small loss. If the price does go to hit your stop loss, make sure it's small. So don't have a stop loss which is all the way here, when you can just enter here and protect here, so that you can come back the next day when there's a better setup and take the trade. Okay, so this, let's say this was a losing day. On this particular day, we had no trade, no interaction with the 50 whatsoever. We proceed to move. Okay, we had an interaction with the 50 here. Let's see if we have followed through. So remember now, these setups are now low probability because the 1350 cross happened long time ago. So the further the price comes to retest the 50, the lower the probabilities of the price pushing up. Okay, London session. A close about the 13, maybe you might wanted to take this one. You might have taken that one. Let's just confirm if it's actually pushed up. Okay, if you had entered here, yeah, the signal was there, confirmation was there, so you could have taken that trade. Remember, your stop loss goes below the low of that candle, right? Then your entry is there. This price didn't push back to 50% or to 25%, so probably you had just one position. If you entered there, to the previous day's high was 10 pips. To the high of that candle before it started to pull back was 20 pips. So you could have taken TP1 or TP2, or you were just trailing. So when price pulls back down, it takes you out. Right? What happens during New York session? During New York session, another reaction here. New York session starts. TDI confirms this is your entry. Okay, so let's check if our entry was confirmed. There we go. There is your confirmation. Is your green price line crosses the red one. That's your confirmation to buy. Stop loss below that candle. Entry, another entry at 25%, entry at 50%. Then from there, price slowly pushed up. Then to midnight, it was like, let's see how many pips. 20 pips. So you could have taken another 20. So a 20 in London, a 20 in New York, 40 pips for the day, which is not bad. 20 pips a day, every day, is good, because once you become consistent, you can increase your lot size. So, okay, that was another setup. Okay, just one to confirm sell setup, then we switch pair. Here is a 1350 cross. After 1350 cross, you wait for price to re-interact with the 50. It does that here. But if you check on TDI, there's no confirmation when that happens. No confirmation to sell plus. This is Asian session. You wake up, you come to London session, you are anticipating sells. Why are you anticipating sells? Because you've had a 1350 cross and your price in your TDI is trading below the 50 level. So you're waiting for any candle which closes below the 13 EMA to take your trade. It happens there. Stop loss is here. Sell limit at 25%, sell limit at 50%, stop loss about that candle. And this price just melted. All trades activated. If you're taking profit on the 200 EMA, that was a clean 30 pips. If you were trailing the last position, you could have taken 50 pips. So if you check also with the TDI, your confirmation was there. So there we go. So you could have entered on this candle, or you could even have entered on this one after TDI had confirmed, because this was just in anticipation of momentum. Then this one was the clear safe entry. So still the same, you could have taken a good number of pips from here to this low, that's 40 pips, to the 200, that's 20 pips. So on other sessions, we're going to be talking about using your moving averages as your TPs and your support and resistance, your yesterday's low, yesterday's high, and things like that. So I'm hoping this is actually clear. I'm going to jump into Euro JPY. Euro JPY, H1 time frame is always on H1. This signature trade is for H1, day trading, intraday trading, to catch 10 to 50 pips depending on what you're trading. So on EJ, we go ahead, we throw that BTMM template. Okay, after we throw that template on, let's go to 1 Feb. So you can backtest from December. You can backtest from as far back as your chart can take you. But for this session, I just used these February, as the month of backtesting. So as you can see from the 1st of Feb, where is our ID50? If you look to your left, your 1350 cross was here, the first one. At this time, price was in a sort of consolidative state. Remember, when your EMAs is in between, price is ranging. You want to wait for the price to break out or to get any form of confirmation that price is now getting out of that zone. So a clean confirmation here would have come probably from here, 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 or here. You had 4 times or 4 chances to enter this trade. TDI was trading above the 50. Confirmation candle. If you start at London session, right? Let me just zoom this in so that you can see. Okay, so if you start this at London, this is London session, so you'll be looking to enter here. TDI is confirmed a long time ago. You see it confirmed during Asian. So those who were up could have bought here, bought here, bought here, bought here, here, here. All those were chances to buy. Then what happened after that was just magic. It just took off from entry and gave like almost 200 pips for the whole move. But up until New York, it was 190 pips. So imagine catching such a move. Right. So one other thing, TDI also had what we call a squeeze. This is another confirmation strategy on its own. TDI squeeze in the breakout to the top. That's a signal of a buy also. So you could have caught that one, taken profit at 20, at 40, and trailed the last position until maybe New York. Okay, so that was another setup. Let's see. Then on the second day, there was no setup. As you can see, no interaction with the 50 EMA whatsoever. The next day, we have an interaction with the 50. We're looking for price to close above. We get that close here. Is TDI confirming? I think it is. Let's check on TDI. On that entry candle or confirming candle, okay, we have TDI confirming. So I could have taken this buy. If I was on the charts here, I could have taken this buy here. My stop loss was right here. So this price sort of raised, hit my SL. I might have looked to enter again, maybe in a New York session, but I could have left it to go. So this, we call this a losing day. So this is okay. Imagine after taking 190 pips, next day you don't trade, you rest. That's if you're only trading EJ. Because if you're trading a variety of assets, where there is no trade here, you can get another trade maybe on GBP CAD or on NASDAQ. Okay, so this was a no trade day. This was a losing day. And it's okay to lose small as long as you're going to gain big. Okay, next day. So here price again is sort of like ranging in that area. So let's see what happened just after it moved from there. So it's sort of ranged for a long time, as you can see, for 1, 2, 3 days before it decided to actually start to move. So on the day it moved, we want to confirm if we would have caught this. If we had missed that one, we could have waited for that nice rejection here of the 13 EMA. If you're familiar with price action, That's your entry there. Stop loss. TDI was still trading above the signal line. So this was just a continuation of an entry which was triggered during Asian. So if it's not clear, do not take the trade, right? I repeat, if it's not clear, do not take the trade. For a sell setup, this sell, let's see how valid it was. 1350 cross here, price interacts with the 50 here, closes below the 13. TDI is trading below the 50. At the close of our confirming candle, which is this one, that's where price was showing that it's turning to give us a signal. So possibly I could have taken that one there. Stop loss tight right there. Entry 25%, 2 entries, 1 good H1 candle could have made your day. Okay, so that was a drop of 120 pips. So imagine you catch 190, you rest 3 days where there is no setup. You come back again, or maybe you have one small loss, you come back again, you catch 120 pips. Next day you rest, next day you rest, you just repeat. And this is just on one pair. So to just rush with this strategy, if there's questions, let me see, I still got King Cyrus Pro. If you have any questions, please feel free. I'm just going to look at US 30 or rather NASDAQ to close it off. So I'm just showing that this setup happens across the range of assets, be it currencies, indices, your cryptos, your metals. Okay, so we put our BTMM here, zoom in. Okay, what's loading there? Let's see. Right, anyways, we go to the 1st of Feb. Okay, so all these lines you might be seeing on these charts, these are just quarter points. If you check, these are whole number points. Your 14,750, 14,625, 14,500, and those in between, it's an indicator on its own. Okay, so from the 1st of Feb, okay, we have a 1350 cross here. So remember on NASDAQ, we said it hugs the 13th, or the 13th EMA most of the times. So after a 1350 cross, sometimes they don't come to the 50. They will react off the 13, react off the 13 until price reverses, right? So you should look for your entries right here, a rejection of the 13 and the close above, rejection of the 13 and the close above. Those will be your entry points. So I'm not going to mark with the vertical line, but you can understand your entry is there. TDI confirms your entry is either here or here. TDI confirms. Let me see. Let me just cross check with TDI confirmed here. I think it only confirmed on this other candle during NY session. So this one had no confirmation on it. It only confirmed here by breaking this mark as well. As you can see, price was coming with aggression, so you could have entered that one. Let's move on with price to see what happened next. Then price reversed. We had another 1350 cross, so we are waiting for interaction on the 50, which rarely comes on NASDAQ. Look for interaction with the 13, rejection on the 13, NY session. That was a clean sell there. This was another sell. Not sure if it was confirmed there, but you could have taken this one during NY. It eventually reacts with the 50, still valid, still same setup towards London session. So you could have taken it here during London. TDI confirms as well. New York session was a reversal. So if you are below the 50, do not counter trend. If you don't understand your price action, just flow with where the price is going so that you avoid making mistakes. Price reacts to the 50, reacts to the 50. Not much momentum here, not much clarity here. So no trade, excuse me, no trade here. We get a 1350 cross interaction with the 13. There is your buy into London session, another buy, New York session. So it could have just been a continuation, right? TDI had confirmed already. So this was a buy coming off this level here, which is somewhere around here, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Right. So this strategy is a 1350 cross on H1. 18 EMA crossing the 50 on H1 with TDI confirmations, paying attention to the 50 level. So if there's no other questions, I think that will be all. The session was recorded, so you can still go back and watch it like from the beginning where we started before the rest of the guys joined. But basically, it's just the same concept all around, same strategy. Our watch list is all these pairs you see on the bottom. That will be our main watch list for the month of March. So I think there's what's missing here. Maybe gold is missing. Yeah, gold will add on gold and maybe two other assets, gold, silver, and maybe two stocks here. Maybe Tesla, maybe Amazon, we'll see. So be sure to join us on our DMR sessions every morning, 9 a.m. SA time. So that's about London session. That's where we have our DMR. We'll just be going through the pairs which we trade. If there's a setup, we usually take the trade live. So this DMR, it goes for $20 US on a monthly. If you're somebody who takes notes, it's actually basically our strategy which we use. So instead of paying maybe for mentorship or for the whole course, you can just pay your 20 for your monthly. We promise you that in a week, depending with your amount, obviously, or depending with your capital, this money will come back within a week, depending with your capital. So do join us. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to WhatsApp HB Capital admin. They will direct you to the WhatsApp groups. They will direct you to the Telegram groups, and they will offer any assistance. So weekends, free DMR. During the week, it's 20 USD per month. So you can spread the word as well, those who want to join, and you can also check out our website. It's www.honeybeanscapital.com. Check out our web on www.honeybeanscapital.com. If you're watching this video on YouTube, please don't forget to like and subscribe and share the videos with your friends as well. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you for the support. I'm hoping maybe this video helped somebody. If you're in our WhatsApp groups, one day you happen to catch the setup, please do share your results with the group, especially on WhatsApp or Telegram. So thank you so much for the support, HB Capital. Thanks you.